Ups in the league. So yeah, some news came out over the weekend, and again, not to don't love hitting a ton on these guys, but again, one of our guys, Shedeur, whatever it is that is going on there in Cleveland, it's a problem. They seem very, very confused, very lost. They came out today with the depth chart and said Joe Flacco starting week one. And again, great. I kind of saw that coming, regardless of what I thought. What we saw a couple weeks ago, what Shedeur did in preseason against the Panthers, he lit it up. But Joe Flacco was named the starter today. He will be starting week one. Dylan Gabriel played this weekend, played a good chunk of game. He was 13 of 18, finished with 143 yards, an interception, and a lost fumble. And again, I do not wish anything bad upon Dylan Gabriel. None of these kids. Again, they're still young men at the end of the day. But that performance, I saw a lot. When we get onto social media and all these different places, people defending him, saying, "Well, that interception was not his fault. That fumble was not his fault. He actually had a really good game." So again, it's just just the it's almost like Shedeur, regardless of what he does, right? So we saw a week ago, little over a week ago, he lit that place up, had a great game, monster game, and everybody says, well, it's just preseason. Where now, you turn the tables a little bit, and the other side of it's now saying, well, Dylan Gabriel did not play bad. It really was not his fault. So it's just, it does make you wonder how much of this is for clickbait, how much of this is for people just not liking Shedeur, knowing that these kind of things sell. And again, I would lean more towards that way, that side of things. But I mean, it wasn't. He had a couple nice throws, honestly. But it's just, how do you win this fight? And I hate to call it a fight for Shedeur, but it's an uphill battle at this point against the media, against everybody. And again, right now it does sell, but to compare that performance as good, I even saw some individuals saying that it was a better performance, that he had a solid outing. Nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. You have two turnovers, right? An interception that's a pick six goes back. You have two receivers in the same area, and again, the tight end did put his hands down, but I mean, you threw an interception, you threw a pick six, and you lost a fumble. Didn't happen with Shedeur, wasn't even close. Two touchdown passes, lit it up. Um, I just think those two performances are night and day difference from each other. So that was pretty frustrating to me. I know that yeah, just reading through those things was a struggle. So we'll see what they do there. But again, and like we've talked about, if they're not going to play Shedeur, do whatever it is, they need to find somebody. They need to go ahead and find somebody, a team that is willing to give him enough reps to develop him in practice. Because again, if you look at the odd man out, Stefanski just said, the head coach of the Browns last week just said, we're not going to carry four quarterbacks on a roster. So again, it would be, yeah, it would be, I kind of see the writing on the wall right now. And again, the team that picks Shedeur up, develops him, yeah, they're gonna have a quarterback moving forward. So whomever it may be, just off the top of my head, just thinking of a couple teams that could use him. New Orleans, the Saints, that would be a good landing spot for him. And again, I know they drafted Tyler Shook, but does not look good right now. And again, it is preseason. I understand that. I think most of us do, but yeah, he has an actual, he's better than Tyler Shook. So we'll just be completely honest there. I think a good place for him to develop. You look at the Raiders, sit behind Geno Smith for a year or two. There's tons of different options out there, tons of different places, but immediately play, that would be New Orleans. You start, I'm trying to think of a couple other places, where he would have some success to be able to sit or possibly even push for a starting job. You might even be at this point though, in the preseason, where pushing for a starting position is not going to happen, just because the playbook, just learning those kind of things. The NFL game is, like we've talked about, the NFL game is much different than college. And then again, even the preseason. So we'll see what he does. But yeah, I do agree. If the tables were turned and this was Shedeur that played like this, you wouldn't hear the end of it. Well, he should know not to throw at two different, that area is clogged. You need to move on. There's two receivers running a route there, meaning there's two corners, or two defenders there. So it would have completely turned upside down. It's almost like when Shedeur steps on the field, he has to be perfect. And again, it does feel that way. It does look that way. So we'll see what happens with Shedeur moving forward. But again, at this point, there are some better options for Shedeur. Someone needs to whoever does get him is going to have the future franchise, the future face of the franchise at quarterback. So whoever that may be. But again, that's just something to keep our eyes on as this week goes on. Again, they drop from what is it 90 something down to your 56-man roster. And one of those is an emergency quarterback. So, or is it 53? Sorry, 53-man roster. It's 54 because you have that emergency quarterback on game day. So we'll see where Shedeur ends up. But again, and almost the Browns have botched this since day one. So again, nothing but we'll see. We'll see where Shedeur ends up again. For the sake of all of us, that might be better if he ends up somewhere else, so that way we don't have to watch the Cleveland Browns play football. So just something to keep our eyes on. And again, I don't want to watch a ton of Browns.